Hi, welcome to Virtualized Geek Tech Talk episode number 38. This is Keith Townsend from virtualizedgeek.com. And we're going to talk cloud computing again today, but specifically, we're going to talk orchestration and the importance of orchestration. Orchestration is the ability to take your data center components and automate the provisioning and basically managing of those components. So there's kind of a misconception now, at least I believe there's a misconception out that if you virtualize all of your data center components, your storage, your compute, your networking, that you have a software defined data center. That's not actually true. The point of a software defined data center is that you have a single pane of glass or close to a single pane of glass or APIs into the data center to be able to control your data center. So the advantages of software defined data center. Let's talk about cloud or private cloud nirvana. The ability to for a service provider to say that, hey, you want to migrate your data center to my data center? Great. We don't have to talk about the underlying infrastructure. I can just carve out virtually a portion of my data center that's, let's say it's all x86 based compute, that will give you a virtual network. It'll give you virtual compute resources, virtual storage resources. You'll be able to set policies around that storage. If you need it to be, if you need physical isolation, fine. But there's no need to talk to a person. You can, through a portal, go through to the portal and say that, you know what, I need these units to be physically isolated onto its own x86 platform. That's fine. The data center provider can magically provision those resources for you. And in theory, you have a completely abstracted data center that can move from point A to point B. We shrink that down to the enterprise layer and talk about, well, from an enterprise perspective, if I have a completely modular data center, meaning that I can expand and shrink my data center's physical footprint as needed because it's software defined, and I can take out physical modular blocks out of that data center and shrink my data center or grow it based on need, and then some magical orchestration layer handles the provisioning of network, storage, compute, security profiles, storage performance challenges. All that stuff is handled by some type of orchestration software. So just virtualizing your infrastructure doesn't get us there. If we think about something as simple as a firewall, and when we virtualize say a checkpoint firewall and put it into VMware, well, from a physical resource perspective, we've taken what had traditionally been a physical resource and made it a virtual resource, but we haven't really changed the management of that firewall. We don't have the physical cabling considerations anymore. So on the back end, we can, create DMZ VLANs, specific private and public interfaces onto that firewall. But pushing rules to that firewall, I still need to go to my checkpoint management console, create a rule set, and push it to that firewall. So there's no northbound communication out of the box just because I've virtualized a resource. Same thing with storage. Unless I'm using some advanced software on my compute platform, either whether it be from Nutanix, VMware's vSAN, or even EMC Scale.io, unless I'm using some specialized storage platform to create storage profiles and provision the storage and guarantee quality of service and speed or class of service for specific applications, I still have a lot of the same management nightmares that I had in the physical world. So just virtualizing a platform does not give us the software defined data center. So this is kind of where we're at in the challenge. So when we look at kind of the major three components of software defined, compute, storage, and networking, we kind of see different levels of maturity. From the compute portion of it, we're pretty mature. You know, Amazon is pretty good at being able to provision your resources. VMware, OpenStack, this is all things that's kind of old hat to us. Storage is starting to get there. VMware's vSAN is a good move into the future. We still have an awful lot of challenges when we talk about when you still need legacy, and I don't want to call them legacy because it's kind of the state of the art. When I need the scale of a HDS or a VMAX system, and server-based SAN is really not an option for me. That orchestration layer and it breaks at the software layer. Same thing for networking. NXX has given us a tremendous amount of capability when it comes to northbound APIs and controlling the network. The capability that I talked about in the blog post about the Goldilocks zone and security is amazing. What we'll be able to do in the future when APIs are leveraged for security. But for network provisioning and automation, NSX most definitely is there for the physical network. But when we talk about extending the physical network via VXLANs and provisioning and the type of provisioning that needs to be done for the physical network or for physical components of the network, that won't go away. I'll always have HP UX Itanium based servers that need to be provisioned, that need network ports and need to share network segments with my virtual machines. Those challenges will still be there. So hopefully, Dell just recently released an open switch, which has that type of, theoretically will have that type of northbound API access that will be able to provision these types of resources on the fly. So quick hit video, less than 10 minutes. Wanted to recap kind of the just because we have a completely virtualized environment, you can be 100% virtualized, but if you don't have kind of that northbound API access, you don't have a software-defined data center. You have a completely virtualized data center, but not a software-defined data center. And for us to get to our example cloud infrastructure, whether it be private or public, Nirvana example we gave in the beginning, you need orchestration. In order for orchestration to happen, we need the API level access. So that's it for this episode of virtualizedgeek.com. Like the YouTube video. Please comment here or on virtualizedgeek.com. Talk to you guys next installment.